can't believe that we came out here in the woods to look, and they got to stay by the road.
Well, I mean, somebody had to come in here and somebody had to stay by the car. What do you want from me?
Maybe we could have all stayed by the car, and a car could have come by and given us some help.
Did you not see the road? You really thought someone was gonna come by?
Well, do you think someone's gonna walk by us in the woods?
I don't know, maybe there's the freaking, I don't know, something out here.
There's nothing out here.
Did you hear that?
Or what?
You didn't hear the screaming?
No.
There was a woman screaming over there.
There's nobody over there.
Well, you can't see through the brush, but I mean, I heard it.
Okay, so you heard a scream.
Yeah.
Should we go back to the road now?
No, you're gonna leave her just in pain?
I don't know who that is. I don't even know if there is anything.
Okay, well, obviously I heard something. What are you saying? I'm like hearing things? Like I'm schizophrenic or something?
No, we've been in the woods a while. It's hot. You might be dehydrated or you might be crazy. I don't know. You heard something. I didn't hear.
Okay, well, obviously I heard something, okay? And I'm gonna go check it out to make sure the woman's fine. So are you coming or are you staying here?
I'm going to stay here. I didn't want to come out in the woods to begin with. I'm not going to go trample about the woods looking for something you may or may not have heard.
Fine. You stay here. I'm gonna go see if she's okay. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
You do that.
Try not to hurt yourself. I could have swore I heard a woman. There was a woman out here screaming. I could have swore. Everything that you've just witnessed was inspired by true events. What this episode is going to be about today is about a forest that's in the Transylvanian area of Romania. And every single paranormal or supernatural event or happening that you can think of has happened in this forest. So many things have happened in this forest that it has got the nickname the Bermuda Triangle of Romania. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the hauntings and the odd phenomenon that's going on in the Hoai Bacui Forest. Now, as I mentioned before, Hoai Bacui Forest is a very haunted forest and is located in the Transylvanian area of Romania. It's actually the world's most haunted forest. But before we get into the paranormal happenings and what they could be, let's start out at the beginning. Now, the origins of the Hoai Bacui Forest start with a farmer. And this is where the Hoai Bacui Forest got its name and its notoriety. Supposedly, a farmer with a herd of his 200 sheep ventured into the forest and disappeared without a trace. Now, this may be explained if it was just the farmer and a few sheep, because maybe they could have got lost or attacked by wild animals and the wild animals could have consumed their corpses. But the farmer and 200 sheep, and no one ever saw any of the sheep or the farmer again, that begs a question of if there is something going on in here. Now, there is another story, and this one involves a little girl. Supposedly, a little girl who lived near the woods traveled into the forest and was missing for 5 years. When that 5 years came up, the girl came out of the woods looking the exact same as she did when she disappeared, having on the same clothes with some added tears and rips in them. And after that, she was never the same. She went totally crazy after she came back, and after that, she falls off of the record entirely. The Hoia-Baciu Forest is positioned west of the town of Cluj-Napoca in the Transylvania area. The forest covers 1 square mile and is feared and avoided by locals, making a person wonder if there really is something going on in the forest. And, along with the disappearance of the farmer and the little girl, there have been over 1,000 cases where people have reportedly gone missing. Now, aside from all of the paranormal and supernatural events that are taking place in the Hoia-Baciu Forest, the forest itself gives off a sinister and eerie vibe. The trees in the forest seem to almost block out the sunlight, making it appear darker than it really is. Trees in the forest grow in a mangled and grotesque way, some people even describing seeing faces in the trees themselves. This is a picture that I took in the woods that I used for the dramatization that you witnessed earlier. Now, something like this could be explained by one of the beauties of nature. That's just how the tree could grow. But in the Hoia-Baciu Forest, almost all of the vegetation in the forest seems to grow in a manner that almost gives an evil feel to the entire area. Not only are there misshapen trees like this one here, but they grow up mangled and twisted, making different shapes that trees would not normally make. And then there's the infamous Devil's Heart that is located in the center of the forest where nothing grows. The trees that surround the clearing also seem to almost look like they're growing away from the clearing, like they're trying to avoid the clearing itself or something that's inside of the clearing. Now, the clearing in the Hoia-Baciu Forest is similar to this one you see right behind me. Now, there are a few differences as well. As you can see, certain parts of this clearing, like this path right here, is kept up and mowed by the people that own it. And in the clearing, as I mentioned before, there is no vegetation in the clearing in the Hoia-Baciu Forest. And there is grass, but it is only about mid-calf height. Now, as you can see behind me, the grass that is not kept up continues to grow. Now, the grass in the clearing at the Hoia-Baciu Forest does not grow. I say that because there are 2 paranormal investigation teams that are well known that have been to the Hoia-Baciu Forest, and there's a few years between their visits. And if you look at both of the videos, the grass is the same length in both the videos. So that means it's not growing. Everything that I've read and researched on this particular phenomenon does not explain why there's a random clearing in the middle of this forest. I did, however, find a particular study that people conducted that might give way or an explanation to what is going on in this clearing in the Hoia-Baciu Forest. There was a study done some years ago that observed the relationship between trees and plants and the power sources that gave off a large amount of electromagnetic energy. And what they found was amazing. The trees seemed to grow away from the power source, like the power lines and large generators. They called this behavior electro-bonsai, and maybe this is what is going on in the clearing. Now, before we get into more of the explanations about what could be going on in this forest, let me talk about the paranormal happenings and events that actually take place in the forest. People that have traveled into the forest have reported seeing ghosts or spirits or apparitions walking and traveling through the forest, and they might explain this as lost souls that were either killed here or found their way to the forest. Other people say that when they go through, they see different colored orbs floating through the forest. And normally when you see a ghost orb, it's in a picture, but these people claim that they are able to see these orbs with their naked eye. So you can't debunk it as a dust particle or a bug flying across the camera. And also the locals also say that if you let any of these colored orbs into your aura, which is your energy field, depending on the color, they could give you an illness or make you sick, which might explain why some people, when they come in here, they have symptoms of being sick for some odd reason. Now also, back to the ghosts, people also claim that they hear screaming and laughing and moaning and all sorts of sounds coming from the forest, and there's nobody in there but them. People have also claimed that they feel a burning sensation in different parts of their bodies, and it gets worse and worse until they get out of the forest. People have been scratched. People also claim that they have symptoms of being sick while they are inside the forest, and as they get closer to the clearing, their symptoms progress and become worse. These symptoms range anywhere from headaches, migraines, nausea, high anxiety levels that can progress into anxiety or panic attacks, disorientation that keeps people from doing everyday normal tasks that it would be normally easy to do, and vomiting. So something is affecting people in this forest. And some people could, discredit it and say that these people come into the forest with the idea that already something is off, so when they come in, something is going to be off for them because their mind is making it that way. And that may be true for certain cases that come into the forest. Except for the photo that I'm about to show you next. This is a picture taken by a woman visiting the forest in 1968. She took this photo above the clearing of what appeared to be a hovering disc in the air. Now, by definition, this is an unidentified flying object because we cannot fully tell what it is, but it does have a striking resemblance to an alien saucer. And what else is shocking about this photo is that it was deemed authentic by professionals. So this woman could have caught some of the most damning evidence of UFOs. Now, the fact that this picture was deemed authentic gives way and says that there may be some paranormal or supernatural events that are going on in this forest. And some people noticed that. There was a particular researcher by the name of Alexander Sift who took it upon himself to go into this forest and study the paranormal happenings and maybe find an answer to what's going on. Alexander Sift was a biologist and a researcher who took great interest in the Hoia-Baciu Forest and the many claims of the people who were experiencing these paranormal events inside. He ventured into the forest to study what was going on, and he took some compelling photos once inside. Most of these were lost, but the surviving ones were published in a book by his friend Adrian Patrout, who continued the research after Sift's death in 1993. Now, some possible explanations to what is going on here are almost as odd as the occurrences themselves. Some say that the forest could be located on a major ley line, which could explain the odd happenings. Ley lines are the imaginary lines on a map that go in a diagonal direction opposite of the meridian lines. A lot of monuments and other highly haunted areas are located on these lines, such as Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids in Egypt. These places are associated with paranormal happenings and high amounts of unexplained energy. Maybe the forest is on one of these ley lines, and if paranormal activity is associated with the lines, then there's no wonder that people are seeing apparitions in the forest. There's something else I found that was interesting. NASA has actually found areas known as X points. These are points where the Earth's magnetic field connects to the magnetic field of the Sun. In this area, tons of magnetically charged particles are transferred from the Sun to the Earth. Now, this action happens a few thousand kilometers away from Earth, but the effects happen closer. These points are actually thought to be the reason for the northern and southern lights. So maybe some of these particles are being transferred in or around the forest and having an effect on anyone who enters. Now, there could also be another explanation. Some people think that there might be just a high level of magnetic, electrically charged energy in the forest, and it's making people see these things and become sick, because when we're exposed to this much kind of energy, it's not a good thing for our body. Also, Romania is rich with dark and superstitious history. It's the home of Vlad Tepes, or better known as Vlad the Impaler, who was the inspiration for Dracula. This man killed thousands and thousands of people, leaving those souls to wander the country. So when there's so much dark and negative energy in a concentrated place, you have to wonder, is it really affecting something? So, to wrap up everything, is dark energy or scientific energy, or both, fueling what's going on in the forest? Or maybe, instead of it being an urban legend, is it something that is all too real? Hey everybody, if you liked what you saw today, please do not forget to hit like, share this video, or comment on it. it reaches more people that way, because a lot of work goes into these videos, not just from me, but from my cast and my crew as well. Also, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button below. You'll get a notification every time I put a video out, which is every other week. I use that week in between to get all the research I can possibly get my hands on and to do the casting for the dramatizations. Also, don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. The links for that will be in the description box below. Also, if you have a story that happened to you or that you experienced that you just can't possibly explain or think that it has paranormal elements to it, then please comment below or contact me on Facebook or Twitter and let me know about your story. And who knows, maybe it'll be a featured story on the episode. Also, I have a few announcements I'd like to make. We're in the 9th episode of Season 1. Season 1's only going to have 12 episodes, so we only have a few more left. Now when Season 2 comes back, it's going to have a lot of new stuff for it, so please keep waiting out for that, and I think y'all are going to like it. Also, I have a really big announcement. Me, one of my researchers and actors, Eric Jobs, one of my good friends, Jordan Sumner, and my girlfriend, Allison Blake, we're all going to start a paranormal investigation team where we go around and we investigate places to see if they're haunted or not. That's going to be on a separate channel from this one. So keep your eyes out for that one. We're getting the stuff ready together for that, and I'll post a link to the Facebook page and the channel once it's up and running. So just keep your eyes out for it. And always remember to wait for the next episode.